everybody. Welcome to Main Street TV. It is a warming up Wednesday today. It looks like the snow is melting out there on the roads, and we are going to get a little bit warmer temperature.
Good.
We won't be in the single digits, so that'll be good. We are here today with Trecia, and she is here to share with us an exciting event that is coming up. It is Run Through Darkness, and we are so happy to have you here in the studio today. So
thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. So, Adrian, we've got a word from our sponsors, and then we will be back to hear all about Run Through Darkness.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Welcome back. And so we are here with Trecia, and you are here to share with us about the Run Through Darkness event. So.
I am. So this is the second year for Run Through Darkness. About 5 years ago, I did a crazy thing and started running. I had never been into sports or anything like that, so it was totally out of my comfort zone. But I was kind of adopted by the running community. Pretty much all over the United States, running community is a fabulous group of people. And so I got the idea from a fellow out in Washington who was a part of the recovery community. He started running through the night by himself as a tribute sort of to his sobriety and recovery journey. And so I thought someday, hey, I'd like to go out there and run with him. And I myself am not at a place in my running journey to run all night. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to talk my friends into it. So some of my running friends, I'm like, hey, can we do this? So if you think giant relay, we start every hour beginning at 5 p.m. on Sunday, which is to celebrate the winter solstice, the longest night of the year.
Okay.
And so not just a run through darkness, but a run through the longest night. And that's kind of symbolic of life's journey when we have a lot of tough times. What do people do to get through those tough times? And one of those things that a lot of us do is to run. And so for the mental and physical properties of running, we started and we decided that we would each do an hour. And so someone committed to taking the top of the hour and moving, running, walking as long as they could. And last year we accumulated over 246 miles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So how many? So how long does it go for? It goes from 5 o'clock at night until
8 in the morning when the sun rises over Lake Alma.
So that's 15 hours.
Yeah,
15 hours.
It's a long night.
That is it. That is a very
long, dark,
the longest night.
Long, dark night.
The longest night. And you brought the shirt.
Yeah. So the people who signed up to take an hour, they get the event shirt. This year we added the date to the shirts because some of the runners wanted a dated shirt, but those are free. It's an entirely free event. Part of my goal is to have an event where no one has to pay to participate. If you do a lot of running events, they can be very expensive. Even though most of them are done for charity locally, but if you participate nationwide in running events, it can get pretty pricey. So I wanted to have something that was totally free where anybody could participate. We don't worry about times. So I'm a very slow runner. And so whatever time you want to do, 15, 17, 18 minutes, just come out and do as much as you can, contribute to the total.
So it starts at 5 and does it run sort of like a relay? So somebody runs and then the next person runs, or are there groups that run at the same time?
Yeah, so we have one person who's committed to take each hour. Mm-hmm. That way we know going into the event we have an unbroken chain for the whole night. But otherwise, we'll have lots of folks who just randomly show up. And then the other facet is I have some friends who are runners and they're all over the country and they chose an hour. My friend in Wyoming participated. She went out and did an hour and then posted to us on Facebook. So if you're not in the Lake Alma area on Sunday evening, but you want to participate, you can participate from wherever you are. Go out, contribute an hour. let us know your miles. We'll add them to the total. But it takes place at Lake Alma State Park, and this year we're beginning at the first campsite, which is right behind the check-in area, the little cabin that's across from the gazebo. You'll just show up there. You'll register there. You'll sign a waiver there. You don't have to pre-register, but some of the hours will have entire groups of people going out. A lot of people came out to begin the event, and then some of those people came back in the morning too to experience the sunrise.
That's so exciting. So, so is there a route that people take, like that everybody takes the same route, or?
So exclusively, we'll use the bike path because it's generally clear of debris and things like that. It's well maintained out there at Lake Alma. So we'll use the bike path. We'll go out and back. There will be some folks. Last year, Josh King did over 50 miles in the night by himself. He actually ran all night, and then Brent did over 40. So a few of us will do. We'll actually run all night long, which is entirely acceptable too. But they will do a longer route. Last year I did. I ended up doing a half marathon that night, so I went all the way into Wellston on the bike path and saw the lights there in town. And that was really cool to run through there, and then went on through town and saw some of the other lights. So, but for most people, you can get an easy 5K by staying on the bike path and going out and back.
Okay, pretty cool. So if somebody wants to get involved, they can just show up.
Show up.
At any point during the.
At any point
during
yep.
the.
If you got a few
time.
minutes to spare, you decide that you need to avoid your family for the evening, skip out on a Christmas party. You don't want to wrap any more gifts. You can show up anytime and join us.
That is so exciting. So, so there isn't a monetary. It's not a fundraiser for anything. It's just an awareness event, correct?
Correct. It's not a fundraiser at this time, and my goal is to, over time, perhaps get some sponsors, grow the event. But my goal is for the participants to always be a free event. The reason for the sponsors is I would like to be able to generate funds to use for suicide prevention in our area, particularly for juveniles. The holidays are a tough time of year for folks. I love the holidays, but even so, they're stressful, and for a lot of other folks, they're even worse. So it's a tough time to go through. So ultimately, the end game someday is to raise funds, but for now, it's an entirely free event just for fun and to raise awareness.
I love the idea and the thought behind it. Like you said, the holidays, this is a really difficult time for people, whether it's a seasonal depression with our seasons changing and it being so gray and cold outside, or if you have family issues, or you're not with the people that you want to be with, or can't be with the people you want to be with, or whatever your issues are. We know so many people in our community are going through hardships right now, financial hardships as well, and that kind of compounds everything. And then we have just our deep-rooted issues that we deal with on a daily basis. Whatever level of mental health that you're dealing with, and then the holidays kick in, and it just it's the trigger for everything. So things that you didn't think were bothering you, they always seem to come up this time of year. It's the end of the year, and we're questioning, what did we get done? What do we have to get done to finish off the year, to begin the new year? So I think it's amazing, and to do it on the longest night of the year to get us through that period and kind of get us over that hump. I just said it makes me all jittery.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think it's absolutely beautiful. The whole idea of it is absolutely beautiful. I'm not a runner at all.
That's okay.
The joke in our family is if you see me running, you just need to make sure you're running faster.
Right.
Because I don't run, but I would assume that if somebody wanted to participate, if they're a walker, that they can do it as well.
And that's the beauty of it. Also, it's meant to be stress free, so you don't have to worry about registering. You don't have to worry about paying more money, and you don't have to worry about being a runner. I am a very slow runner, so I will, it'll take me all night to do what other people will do in a few hours, and that's okay. There's no rules. There's no time clocks. It's just really come out, do your own thing. Last night I kind of said, you do you. If you want to walk, if you want to, I have some folks this year who are going to bring their kids with them to participate. We had some folks last year who came out at the beginning of the event, which is in the evening, and then they actually came back in the morning because they wanted to see the reverse. And I'll tell you, when you have been there all night and you see the sun coming up over Lake Alma, it's really beautiful, and it's like, then the sun is going to rise. It's going to be there. There's going to be hope. It's a whole new day. And so this sort of the symbolic of the sun rising was really a beautiful experience. And we had some folks who were like, I'll definitely be there for that this year. So
you talked about the people can bring their families.
Yep.
So I assume people can bring their kids out as well.
Yep.
Since it's on the bike path, would it be okay if somebody had, if they had a stroller, would that be okay?
Yeah,
or
no.
as long as you stay out
Strollers,
of the way of runners?
Yeah, strollers are fine.
Yeah.
No worries there. Pretty much anything if you've driven through Lake Hope on a regular day and you see all the folks on the bike path, sometimes there's kids on scooters, that kind of thing. So really there's no prohibitions. It is a state park, so we have to follow all of their rules, but otherwise there's no restrictions like in a normal race, because if you do a larger city race, some of those are no strollers type of things. But no, strollers are welcome. Kids are welcome, all ages. So anyone who's interested in learning, about the running community, there will be some diehard runners there. And what I found and what kind of hooked me into running was the running community is a terribly supportive group of folks. They want everybody to prove. They want everybody, running is about meeting your own goals. So if you have done a 5K before and you're like, this is the night I'm just going to try to do 4 miles, or I've done a half marathon, so I want to get in, a marathon that night. There are a lot of folks there to cheer you on. And I think that's universally true of the running community. A super kind, super helpful, super compassionate group of people.
I would think it'd be a great place to meet people that may have like interests with you as well. So if you're a runner and you're looking for friends that are runners, or kind of somebody to kind of cheer you on outside of this event, this would probably be a good place to find other people that have similar goals and are cheering you on.
It really is.
I found that about the running community as well. My son was a cross-country runner in college, and to watch all the teams come at the end, whether you're the first person to come through the lane or you're the last person to come through the lane, the teams are there and they're cheering on not just their own teammates, but cheering on the other teams. And that's not something you often see in other competitive sports, where the opposing team is cheering you on, wanting you to finish and wanting you to do your best. And that's something that you see in the running community. They just want people to hit their own personal best and just as good as they can do on that day. So
that's another fun thing about Jackson right now is 5 years ago when I started, there weren't many local running clubs. And so right now, a lot of my running friends have joined the group in Chillicothe, and they run weekly and sometimes multiple times weekly. And then Jackson, there's a few folks who have started a Jackson running club, and they're running regularly as well. They're doing a lot of fun runs. They have, so it was Wellston they did in October, and they planned a little tour of like the Halloween decorations.
Okay.
And so they mapped out a run and ran by the all of the Halloween houses in Wellston. And so Jackson is kind of really a growing community for runners. So if you're interested in running regularly, I'd be happy to connect you to one of the running groups. Athens has some groups as well, but really up and coming Jackson Running Club is pretty cool. They're doing a lot of fun stuff.
So if your New Year's resolution is to start running,
start early.
This would be a great place. This would be a great place to start. You can jump in, you can meet some new people, possibly join the club or show up for some of their events. You talked about that you can take the bike path and you can see the lights as well out in Wellston, possibly.
Yeah, so for the main event, it's easy to get a 5K in out and back by just staying on the bike path. So if you're unfamiliar with the area, it is really, really dark out there. So I should say that lighting is required. Usually if you're a common runner and you do some night running, you'll have a headlamp. That's super helpful. I don't want folks to have to go out and spend a lot of money to participate, so there will be some flashlights provided for the event. So we do want you to have some sort of lighted mechanism because it is super dark out there at night. But if you want to go a little bit further and you have the time, then you can take the bike path on into Wellston. Last year I ended up finishing about a half marathon, and so I went all the way into Wellston, went through the park and saw all the trees, and that was a super nice part of it as well. So you can go on further into Wellston if you want, stay on the bike path, and then come back out to Lake Alma to finish and log your miles.
You talked about lighting. I would assume like reflective clothing might be helpful.
Yes.
And also, it's going to be cold. I mean, even though it's warming up,
cold.
It is going to be cold still. We know that. So, dress accordingly.
Yeah, last year we bottomed out at 19 degrees. So it was cold. But the sort of the color for the shirt just kind of by happenstance ended up being safety orange. So it's a very strange color for a running shirt, but the color is safety orange. So safety first, yes. Please have something bright, reflective. The bike path is pretty safe because it's a separate lane from the travel lane around Lake Alma. So it is pretty safe for runners in that regard. But yes, definitely some lighting, definitely some fluorescent clothing, and definitely layers. We did live and learn from last year's event.
Okay.
And so we started last year down at the boat ramp. And 3 a.m., we were all super cold. So we did rent the first campsite this year. So we will be able to have a fire. So fire all night long this year.
So you can run and then come and
warm up.
Warm up because you're probably going to need it.
Yep.
Especially towards the middle of the night. Oh gosh, I just had a thought and I can't remember.
That's okay.
That's what happens to me. You brought an interesting piece of art. So can you tell us about this piece?
This is a runner, and if you go to a race, you usually get some sort of finisher's medal, usually on kind of like a lanyard. And so I just wanted really to do something different. And so, and I also, when I'm planning things, like to promote local folk. So I contacted Josh Cart in Vinton County, who is a carver, and he does a lot of really cool work with his carving skills. And so I'm like, hey, I have this event. I sent him the Facebook link to check it out to kind of get an idea. Would you be willing to carve something for the event? And he sent me back a picture of a statue in Athens, Greece called the Runner.
Okay.
And he's like, I think I want to do something based on this. And I'm like, okay, go for it. And so yesterday I picked this up, and this is what he came up with. So if you see, it's like the perpetual motion of someone running. And so it's kind of, I think it's cool. It's cool. It kind of captures, the human potential of running and the perpetual motion, a lot like life. We're always in perpetual motion these days. So that's the story behind the carving. The guys next door on the radio suggested maybe we treat it as a traveling trophy.
Okay.
And so this year, the guy who runs the most miles all night long and the girl who runs the most miles all night long will get one.
Okay.
And so the guys at the radio this morning suggested maybe we just do a traveling trophy and pass it on from year to year. So I don't know where we're going to end up with that, but that's the trophy for this year's event.
Well, I love that idea, like the guys, because it's kind of the idea of the run is that you're passing on, that we're all in this together.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, they came up with that this morning.
It's part of all of us.
Yeah.
I think it's an amazing event, and I'm new to this area, relatively new to this area. I've only been here for a year and a half, but the types of events like this that happen within our region I just think they're amazing, and that they come from this grassroots. I thought this would be a good idea, and so I'm going to make it happen. Kind of like what you were talking about is, I've seen this happen in other places. How can I make this happen on our scale here in our area, and to include so many different people and have it grow? I think that that's a great thing, and I think that's the beauty of Southeastern Ohio. You see this in all of the different communities, whether it's here in Jackson or in Vinton County or in Gallipolis. We see it all over the place where somebody has an idea and they just, the community pitches in and it just starts to grow and grow. So
Yeah, I've lived in Vinton County. I grew up in Appalachia, but I've lived in Vinton County for the last 27 years now. And over time, it just comes with an idea, one person then ask another person. This started because the fellow out in Washington State who has, where I got the idea from, he did it to celebrate his recovery journey and sobriety, and he took to running as an outlet while he was in recovery. So he runs all night himself. And I got the idea, and I'm like, I can't do that. At least at this point in my running journey. Someday I'll work up to it, but right now. And so I have some friends who were runners who have ran their entire lives. They're really good runners, and they were kind of training me, helping me to become a runner. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask them, like, hey, will you help me put this together? Will you help me pull this off? Will you do an hour? And so I thought, if we had 15 people who do an hour, that's a lot easier commitment than saying I'm going to run all night. And so I reached out to them. Hey, will you guys take an hour? And so last year I thought, if we have 15 people, that will be a successful night. And we ended up with over 30 folks who came out, and over 246 miles. But you're right. A lot of ideas just start with a person or a group of people sitting around thinking, what can we do to support our community? What's the need? And I think across Jackson, Vinton counties, time after time, you see that happen with all of the groups that come together to create some sort of community event to fill a gap. Oftentimes fundraisers for someone in the community or a group in the community, a group of kids in the community who need this sort of equipment, or put some event together to raise money. And I think our communities are gracious in welcoming those events. Everybody locally pulls together and rolls out to support whatever fundraiser is going on in the community. So you're right; it is a super cool part of Southeastern Ohio.
If somebody isn't a runner or doesn't have the ability or the desire to run or walk the event, is there some other way that they can help in facilitating this, or help in getting
just
everything going?
promoting the event is always promoting, sharing, telling people about the event is always super helpful. But last year we had a group of folks who were like, we just want to come out and see what's going on. We want to provide moral support because I can't run. I don't want to run in the middle of the night in December. And so, but this is cool that you guys are doing this. And so we had a group of folks who just came out and stood around, and as the runners came in for their times, they would high five. We had folks who brought snacks out to us last year. So one of the runner, Josh's wife, who he ran through the night, so she was there. She literally cooked pierogies for us all night long.
Oh, wow.
And so every time a new group of runners would come in, food was fresh. She had a coffee pot there and provided coffee all night long. So it was also just a time period for socialization, people getting together, get some fresh air, meet some new people, connect with others. Just kind of decompress from the holidays and the normal routine and the normal grind of life. So folks are more than welcome to come out for moral support. We need cheerleaders, so that's helpful when you're trying to do something really hard, both in the night and in life. It's always good to have a support group. So we welcome people to just come out and hang out with us and cheer us on.
So I would assume towards the end of the run, as the sun is coming up and the run is ending, is it celebratory? Is it somber? Is it a combination of both? Is it?
You would think that it's more like excitement, but after being out there all night, we were all kind of drained, physically, mentally.
I can imagine.
So it was probably more quiet than you would expect, because you're just like, I think, you know, a lot of times when you go through something really hard, either mentally or physically, you're just kind of like at the end of it, when it's all said and done, you're just kind of reflective. And so I think that's the way a lot of us were. But I could see someone else really experiencing it differently. But it really was kind of all striking to finally, after so much dark out there, it is really nothing but the stars and the moon, and to be black for so long, and then you get that first glimmer of light. We were like, oh, we made it. And so it's going to be better, and it's going to get warmer, and bright, and life is going to get brighter. And so I think we were all just kind of really struck with the beauty of the moment, more so than being more celebratory. So, but I could see people experiencing it different ways. So we'll see this year.
I literally, every time you start talking, I'm like, oh my gosh. So this is like the most beautiful thing of the events I've heard this year. I'm so glad that Pete brought us your information. So your running journey, your personal running journey.
Yeah.
So I would assume you run locally and stuff, but just kind of get out there and run. But have you participated in other events?
Yeah. So I do like race vacations. So I have ran in a lot of different places in Ohio. There's a great race up in Amish country that's super beautiful. And at the end of that race, you get homemade noodles. So
okay.
I mean, like, what could be any better than Amish noodles after a run? So that one is super fun. But the largest race I've done is the OSU 4-miler. And that was around 11,000 people.
Oh, wow.
So part of the contrast between this event and that event is when you're doing a race with 11,000 people in a large city, you have to worry about, how do I get to the start lane? How do I get into my particular start lane? Because usually you're grouped back based on your pace. And I'm usually at the very end. So, like, how do I find my right place? How do I avoid all the roads being shut down? So there just can be like a bit of stress going into the event. And then, like, did you fuel properly? Are you dressed appropriately? A lot of hassle sometimes to get to the start. And so this race, I wanted it to be super flexible, super stress-free. You show up and you run. You don't have to worry about whether you have the right shoes, or do you have your bib on in the right place, or any of the rules. You just show up and run. Show up, sign your waiver, and run as much or as little as you want to. But I have not ran as much this year, and I regret that. I've been a bit of a slacker this year. So for myself, my goal of the event is just to try to get started again, back to running. I ended up transitioning for a period of time into triathlons. And so I did one of those out in Colorado, which was super fun and super interesting to learn and be a part of that community. But my most fun race vacation is a half marathon in Key West.
Wow.
In January. So it's the opposite of this. It's a warm, bright, sunny
slightly
race.
different weather situation going on.
Very much so. But yeah, I like to travel and run.
That's awesome. As far as southeastern Ohio and being a runner, I've traveled around the country, and I would think, few places that would rival running in this area. I mean, we have some of the most beautiful scenery. We have beautiful trails and paths that take you through our natural beauty, and we have seasons. So depending on, what's your favorite season to run in, which I would think winter might be some people's. For me, it would just be really too cold. But you can run through snow. You can run through the falling leaves. You can run through the early spring when we're transitioning and the flowers are starting to come out. The summer when we have just a totally different environment going on around here. Just our natural beauty, our local wildlife that we share our area with as well. I mean, we live in a beautiful part of the country, and
it's fabulous, and it's super easy to hop out to Lake Hope and be able to run out there. That's one of my favorite places to go if I'm going to do trail running. Bailey's Trail System over in Athens. Last time I was over there and ran, they are up to like 20 some miles of running trails right now. A bit of a difference with running in southeastern Ohio is it is hilly.
Keep that in mind.
Shout out to Sydney Brown, my daughter. She is doing a lot of running, and she's working up to a marathon. But she's now living in Indiana, and it's super flat. So when she comes back to run, she's like, "Oh, these hills are a killer." But so you're right. There's a lot of places. Lake Alma is one of my favorite go-tos, just because it's quick, it's convenient, it's easy to get out there. The path is easily accessible. But there's a lot more trails around that are spectacular.
I like I said, and the beauty in this area, it just kind of lends itself to being outdoors, whatever your sport is, whether
your passion.
Whether you're a bicyclist or a hiker or a runner. We have so many different options available to us within, Jackson County, Vinton County, and the surrounding counties around us. I mean,
yeah, a lot of my friends in Jackson go to Lake Catherine, and it's super super pretty out there, pretty much all times of the year. You're right. And it's interesting to see how it changes from season to season. You get a totally different view in the fall than you do in the spring. So you're right about that.
Yes, very much so. I live across the road from Lake Catherine, and my backyard
beautiful.
Looks very different right now than it does in the spring
months.
or the summer.
Yep.
Very, very different. But that's kind of the joy of it. Is that part of the reason why we moved to Ohio is so that we could kind of get that diversity in what everything looks like.
Yeah,
so,
it's a fabulous area.
So the 21st, which is Sunday. Mm-hmm. I'm having trouble with days. Today is Wednesday. I had to remind myself of that. So Sunday at 5:00
is the start.
They're going to be at Campsite 1 at Lake Alma. That's where that's kind of the home base.
Right.
For where everybody's going to be set up and kind of the starting point. You don't have to sign up.
Nope.
Beforehand or let them know you're coming or anything.
Nope,
you do need to sign a waiver, correct? That you're not going to, if you get hurt or anything, probably give emergency information as well in case something does happen and they need to get you some emergency help, that they know who you are and who to contact and things like that. If there's anything else that they should know. 100% make sure that you dress accordingly, whether you're running or you're there to cheer them on. Dress accordingly, because although our temperatures are going up a little bit, they're probably still going to be, I'm going to guess, in the 20s through the night.
The guys over at the radio checked, and they are predicting a high, or a low, the high end of 20 that
Good
night.
guess.
So,
Good guess.
Yep.
And that's on the high, so make sure that you're dressing accordingly and dress in layers. We all know, I mean, we're all from around here, so we all know that, little changes in temperature may mean, you need an extra layer, you need to take a layer off, so make sure that you've got layers going on. And hydration as well. We forget about that. At night, you still have to hydrate if you're running. It doesn't matter if you're running in the sun or you're running in the night. You still need to make sure you're hydrated. But I mean, just the community of it. I think that's what's getting me the most, is that it's just the community of the whole thing, is people coming together to support this idea that we're supporting each other. That, I mean, these are difficult times, and people are struggling. Whatever your struggle is, that there are people out there that do care and want to help. We talk about this on the show a lot, that whether it's the veterans that we had in from Ohio University and the high veteran suicide rates and their mental health struggles that they come back with, or the financial struggles of our local community, just our mental health struggles, everything, is that there are people out there that will help and that want to help, and you are important, and you're an important part of our community, and it's events like this that really kind of solidify that you don't have to sign up, you don't have to be part of a group to participate. You can come out and be there and get the support that you need to get you through the darkest night of the year. I mean,
Yep.
there's so much symbolism in your event. I think that's what's getting me so much. It's the darkest night of the year, and everybody's coming together, and it's a community, and we're all going to get through it. And then there's the sun at the end of the event, and it's the brightness at the end of the journey.
Yeah, it was a real work. It was a real work in progress. It took me 5 years to get up the courage to be like, okay, I'm gonna try this. And I shout out to Marty at Iron City Barbell, who is like, finally after about 4 years, I pitched the idea to him, and I'm like, I got this idea, and I'm thinking about doing this, but this is a crazy idea because I'm gonna ask people to come out and run in the middle of the night, and hey, I want to do it in December because it's the longest night. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you got to do it. So shout out to Marty for being the encourager behind the dream and the vision. Ultimately, the vision is to keep growing it so that we have more and more people come out, and then ultimately someday to be able to put it into a position to raise money for mental health awareness, to bring some programs. We do have a lot of programs in this area, but we don't have a lot of programs devoted solely to mental health for juveniles. So that's really kind of the vision beyond where I am right now. Right now I'm in year 2 and just trying to still talk people into coming out and running in the middle of the night. But the real vision is to create a foundation or a charity that supports mental health for juveniles. So that's where it's headed, somewhere down the road. But
I mean, we have to take care of our kids.
Yep.
I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, the adults are struggling, and when the adults are struggling, the kids are struggling too. And sometimes we forget that the kids have their issues. And
it's a hard time for kids to grow up.
It is.
They got a lot going on.
They do. There's so much. I mean, there's all the struggles that everybody deals with, but then you have the peer pressure and the bullying and social media and fear of missing out, and there's so much that goes on, and this feeling that am I enough? Will I ever be enough? There's just so much. I mean, kids carry so much on their backs that often isn't realized by adults. And until a little bit too late, or hopefully not too late. So get your kids out doing this. I know for my son, like I said, my son was a runner, and it really helped his mental health to be out there and run. You could see the difference in his personality and in how he was dealing with school and with friends and with his other obligations if he could get out there and he could run. If he was stressed, a lot of times I'd say, why don't you go for a run? Yeah, why don't you go for a run? And he ended up having an accident, and then he couldn't run. And we saw that huge difference in his mental health in not being able to do that again. Exercise releases all sorts of chemicals within your body that, like dopamine and serotonins and things like that, that kind of help you deal with situations. And so if exercise is your thing, major shout out, because keep doing it. I know it's hard. Everything is hard. I mean, honestly, everything is hard. Whatever it is that's your thing, everything is hard, but you have to keep doing it. You kind of don't. We don't want it to be a choice. You have to keep doing it because we want you to still be here. But yeah, I know that running, especially, and exercise in general, is a huge mental health step, and doctors will tell you that as well. Is that if you can get out and you can move your body in some way, even if it's a little bit. If you can't run, if you're like me and you can't run, walk. If you can't run, walk.
Yeah.
Just
come out and get the fresh. Come out and get the fresh air.
Fresh air is a big one.
It'll fill your lungs quickly that night. So I think it's the idea of the darkness is it's bleak and but I think that the end of the event is where you see the hope and the light. And I think that every day that's what most of us are looking for, that hope. Yeah. Because I've talked to a lot of folks in the recovery community, and generally, the thing you always want to have is hope. And so I think when we think of the new year and it's, a fresh start, the event fits in nicely with that idea of, like you said earlier, about, New Year's resolutions and everybody getting getting into track for the new year. This is just sort of a precursor. Go ahead and start a few days early and get ready for all those New Year's resolutions. So it's really an event of hope, even though it has darkness in its name. If you're there in the morning and see the sun come up, I think you'll experience what we experienced last year, which was pretty universal amongst the group when we saw the sun come up in the morning.
Well, I think you truly appreciate the light once you've come through the dark, and I think that's what you're going to see at sunrise on Monday morning, is that when that light comes up, like you were saying, it's pitch dark through the night, and then the light comes up, and it's I
didn't mean to make folks cry this morning.
No, that's okay. I actually think it's a beautiful, beautiful event, and the idea behind it is just absolutely wonderful. So if you are, like I said, if you are not a runner, you're not a walker, they can use people just to be out there cheering people on and just being part of it. Just if you're looking for something to
socialize,
just to be part of, whether you're a group or you're a single. Come out, Campsite 1, Lake Alma. They're going to be there for 15 hours. So you got a really big window that you can do this in.
Spur of the moment. Come on out.
Just come on out. If you need somebody to talk to, there'll be people out there. If you just somebody to walk with.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the other thing too is I have some ladies who don't want to go out by themselves. But so if you're that person and you don't want to run by yourself or you don't want to walk by yourself, then there will be people there all night long who'll be like, okay, I'll go with you. And there'll be some folks standing around who are there not really for their own agenda, but to support someone else. And so they'll go out with you. And some of those folks are much better runners than me, and they can maintain any pace. So they'll just go out with you for as long as or as short as you want to go. If you just think, wow, I really, I've never done a mile before, and that's what I want to do tonight. There are folks there who will be willing to step up and I'll go with you. And so that's another part of the event is just the socialization. Meeting new people who may have a common interest with you or share sort of experiences that you're going through. So, and everyone's welcome, anyone's welcome, and there'll be folks there to support you.
Well, like I said, I just think this is absolutely beautiful. So, Trecia, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing this with me because I am, like I said, I'm like, But so Run Through the Darkness, Sunday night. We'll put all the information in the comment section so that you can see exactly where we're going in case you missed some of it, or get in touch with them for more information. So Pete Wilson's in the house right now, and so we're going to have a couple words from our sponsors, and then we're going to be back with today's news.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, the Telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more, in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.
Did you know Jackson is home to a locally owned and operated full-service print shop? Zip Printing covers all your print, signage, and design needs. From business cards, booklets, and posters to yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, oversized signage, and more. We can help you or your business advertise and look good doing it. Zip Printing also offers logo design. Allow us to assist you in building or elevating your brand today. Zip Printing is located in the Stockmeister Plaza at 708 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio. So stop in or give us a call at 740-286-3023.
Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, hump day, right?
It is hump day.
Heading towards the holidays.
Yep, and
right.
it's warming up.
It is. It's
warming up.
That's right. It's downright balmy outside by our standards.
The snow is melting.
It is.
I can see my driveway again.
Okay, that's always uplifting. All right, well, we have some news to pass along to you, and I'm going to first focus on a couple of front page stories that are in today's edition of the Telegram. They're long stories, they're detailed. I know that's sometimes hard to tackle, but you really need to know about this. And that is the situation involving the finances of the Jackson City School District and what they're going to try to do about it to fix it. That is Phil Howard. This was at last week's school board meeting. A very important school board meeting, a watershed meeting where some important decisions were made about how to proceed. And he went through a presentation, a pretty detailed presentation. He has been fantastic at doing that, trying to explain what it is the district is facing and why they're facing it and how it came to be, and then, of course, how to fix the situation. The situation is, right now, the Jackson City School District is more than solvent. However, mainly because of the 2-year state budget that was approved just a couple months ago, the financial projections have turned sour for the Jackson City School District. School districts that are not high wealth, ours is not high wealth, a lot of districts in our area are considered low wealth, depend on state funding for the lion's share of their operating funds. The Jackson City schools have less state funding than they expected to get based on what was stated in what was called the Fair School Funding Plan that the legislature approved several years ago. Apparently it wasn't signed in blood, but the idea was that there would be certain amounts of money for the next several bienniums so districts would know what they needed to go on. So a little bit less, a lot less state funding than what they've had before, and also just general operating costs increasing. Also the fact that enrollments at local schools, including the Jackson City School District, have dropped because people are going to, not so much of the population, but because more families are choosing to do online education or homeschooling. And also open enrollment, students can go to neighboring school districts. They have that right. Actually, the way it works for Jackson is a district that attracts more than they lose, but it still doesn't work out for the Jackson City School District. So what they're going to do is they have a combination of trying to bring in more revenue and doing the cuts that they feel they can do. And if they can't bring in more revenue, the cuts are going to be deep, and they would come later. And Mr. Howard and the school board have been very transparent, I think, about saying what's going to happen. Not doomsday stuff, but just being honest about it. That is Jackson City Treasurer Trecia McGinnis, who was explaining about some of the expenditure reductions that are planned or that could happen if the finances don't straighten out. But the main thing that the district would like to do, and they do it reluctantly, I can tell you that for sure, is a local tax, a new local tax. And of course, it would have to be approved on the ballot by voters that live in the school district. That's just not in the city, that's outside the city as well. There's probably as much population outside the city as there is inside the city. But what they are proposing, what they took the first step towards doing at the most recent school board meeting, is they passed a resolution requesting certification of estimated tax rates for an earned income tax. That is the first step towards putting it on the ballot. And the goal is to put it on the ballot in the May primary next year, 2026. If the earned income tax would be approved, they would not start collecting it until the next fiscal year. So there's a period there where, you're just, it won't take effect immediately.
So would it start on, they would start on July 1st of 26?
It would start on it would start on fiscal year 2027, which would be in the middle of the year. Is my understanding on that.
Okay.
But an earned income tax is different than a straight income tax because the only people that pay it, and this is still most of the people, are people who earn income from work. That's about as simple as you can put it, whether from their job or the services they provide, if they're even self-employed or whatever. But if you earn a paycheck because of work that you do, you would be paying the earned income tax. Who wouldn't be paying the earned income tax are people who have income that is not from work. It could be interest income, it could be Social Security, it could be
pension income?
Investments and pension.
Okay.
That would all fall in that category. And so I'm sure the school district is thinking that would maybe help make it more passable because some people would not be involved in that. Senior citizens, some other people that aren't working but have some money coming in, they would not be directly affected because it is an earned income tax. Two decisions they had to make about the earned income tax were how big and how long. What they decided was they tossed around options of 1%, 1.25%, and 1.5%. And they went with 1.25%, 1.25% income tax. Of course, if you live in the city of Jackson or work in the city of Jackson, that's a 1.5% income tax now. So, that's probably a negative factor because people are already paying the income tax to the city. But most cities and villages have income taxes. The village of Oak Hill has one. The city of Williston has one. But the length, they've decided to go for 6 years. So there would be, I guess you call it a sunset clause worked into it. It would go for 6 years, and if they needed to go longer, they'd have to pass it again. So it's sort of an accountability worked in there. Also, they are hopeful that the funding situation will be straightened out with the combination of the earned income tax and other cuts that they feel they can do that are manageable. They don't want to cut into the red meat, so as to speak, on what they think is needed for for our education system here in Jackson, but they have some plans to do some cuts on the front end through attrition. Not many of them would take place this school year. There's one school bus route that they would eliminate a bus driver. And then next year there would be, next fiscal year, there would be some teaching positions and other positions involved, not a lot, but some. And all those would involve ones where it's established that person is resigning or retiring.
Okay.
So it would be cuts through attrition.
Okay.
There wouldn't be a human losing its job. There would be a position that would be cut through attrition. Now, if the earned income tax does not pass in May of 2026, and the tax record for passage, if people don't like property tax, they don't like any kind of tax, has not been very good. And there's already an income tax that most people already pay to the city, and of course you pay it to the state and you pay it to the federal government. So, will people be willing to support it? That's a big question. But if the earned income tax does not pass, Phil Howard, the superintendent of schools, has laid out a bunch of cuts that would have to take place, and they would be deep. You're talking about a lot of positions that would be cut. You're talking about a lot of programs and services that the schools do that would have to be cut, that they think would not be ideal, but you got to do what you got to do to balance the budget. The state biennium is in effect now. It started on July the 1st, goes for 2 years. They're also hoping that the next biennium, maybe the legislature will be more kindly towards the school districts. Superintendent Howard says that while Jackson is on the front end of some of the worst situation, other school districts have financial deficits that are projected on down the line a little farther. He said that many school districts in Ohio are going to be hurting if the school funding situation and what the state provides does not change. So there's the hope that in the next biennium that the state funding, could change to be more favorable to the schools. So we'll just have to see on that. But we have two articles that Jeremiah Shaver wrote that are on the front page of the paper. One is about putting the earned income tax or taking the steps to put that on the ballot in May 2026. And another is about the written plan that the schools had to provide to the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, because this is probably a good thing that the state does, although it's a painful thing. If they see that you're projecting a deficit in the next 3 years, you have to give them a plan on how you're going to balance the budget. So you have to kind of throw this stuff out there. You can't presume that you're going to pass an income tax. So part of what is reported there is the cuts that the district would make if they have to. They're not going to do anything that they don't have to do as far as that. And so some of the decisions still have to be made, but it's kind of in the process now. Earned income tax on the ballot for the Jackson City School District in May 2026. And I can tell you that other school districts locally, Wellston City School District included, they're already looking at what they need to do to avoid a deficit situation in a later year. Because, the school funding situation from the state does affect all of our local districts.
Oh, yeah. I think what Superintendent Howard was saying is that, what you were saying, is that Jackson's kind of coming first into this, but the other school districts are going to follow behind as well.
Right. That's the thing. There's always been scares that the local schools have had in our area because of state school funding. That is, the big ticket item, no matter how you slice it, for operating funds through our school districts. But it always seems like the legislature comes around to recognize what the local schools need. In this case, they kind of held the line a little bit on how they think it ought to be. Locals pay a little bit more of the higher share, support more money for private education, which is, a boogeyman for the public schools. And, the problem is there's not a lot of private schools around here.
That's the difficult position for this entire area, not just for the city of Jackson, is that there aren't private schools for that option like there are in larger areas.
In larger areas, Catholic schools. And, we have the Christian Life Academy here just outside Jackson, and it's growing, but it's not a huge school.
No.
And, of course, a couple years ago, St. Peter and Paul in Wellston was closed by the diocese for financial reasons. Okay, a little bit more uplifting stuff. Santa Claus was spotted in Jackson earlier this week, and there he is.
Oh, my.
By golly, that's on David Avenue. I sent Jeremiah Shaver out to find him, and he found him on David Avenue. That is the iconic Wellston Lions Club Santa Claus float that is making the rounds all over the area. They're always in Wellston, of course, that's the home base. But they've gone to Hamden. Tuesday night they were in Colton. I think they were at Glenroy. They'll be back in Jackson Thursday, I understand, after 4 p.m. This is all weather permitting because Santa can maybe take the rain a little bit, but the float can't. So, but anyway, we'll cross our fingers and hope that Santa can make all those rounds. One other thing that I want to say here, as we're running out of time. This is another Christmas thing. Just want to thank everybody that supported the Shop with a Cop program. That is done by the Fraternal Order of Police. The Fraternal Order of Police represents law enforcement agencies all across Jackson County, police departments, the patrol, the sheriff's office, etc. And these are some of the officers that took place in Shop with a Cop, which was, I believe, last Saturday here in Jackson. I think they went to Walmart. Okay. And the best thing about it is, they identified the kids, the families that are in need, and they actually go with a cop to shop. And, they pick out what they want, within the budget that they have. And so I know the police departments and the law enforcement community really love doing that. That is a posed picture out there at Walmart. Either before or after they were gone, there was a couple school people there I see in the photo as well. Sheriff Ted Frazier is there. So great program, and it would not work if there weren't a lot of community donations for it. Just one of many programs to make sure that Christmas cheer spreads as wide as we can make it.
We are a community. That's what I was talking to Teresa about, is that that is the beauty of our area, is we all come together during good times and bad to make sure that everybody has hopefully what they need.
Absolutely, we do. I've seen it year after year after year.
And Santa's on the run. Santa's run.
Right.
He's coming back to Jackson, too, so
All
pretty
right.
exciting.
He'll be there, I can guarantee you.
Well, it's a Wednesday, Pete. It's a Wednesday. So
We're heading downhill, right?
We are. We're heading downhill to the end of the year.
Right.
That's what's crazy, is that there's only a couple more weeks left in the year.
Right.
Seems like it just started. Seems like we were just here 51 weeks ago or so, 52 weeks ago or so.
Oh, yeah.
During Snowmageddon.
It keeps rolling.
Here we go.
Yep.
And it's the end of the year already. So so that's it for our Wednesday. We will be back here tomorrow. Jen should be back here in the host seat tomorrow morning. And if not, then I guess I will be back here again. So we will see you tomorrow. Be safe out there. The roads are still a little icy and slick. So take your time, slow down, watch for pedestrians, and
All that stuff.
so that everybody can get where they need to go for the holidays. So we'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Bye.